In this tutorial, we're looking at the kanji on page 12, and we start over here with a character which means a shrine. We've called it a Shinto shrine, but of course this character originally came from ancient China and they didn't have Shinto religion there, so it was just a shrine, or in fact a group of people gathered together. On the left hand side we've got an interesting element which I'll show you in its original form. Okay, this is what the characters looked like long ago. This form here was approximately 2,000 years ago, and then that's the sort of standardized form, and you can see on the left hand side quite clearly that's an altar. An altar, so it's a kind of a table arrangement. So I think that's quite clear, isn't it? On the right hand side you've got this element which you should be very familiar with, and it means dirt or ground, or by extension a place. So a place where you find an altar, that's obviously a shrine. Okay, let's have a look at the character. This is what it looks like now. I want to just remind you of that altar shape there on the left, that this left hand element was developed from. So that was the original altar shape, and this is how it looks today. Now that top stroke basically has just been moved up like that, so that's the top stroke. Then the second top stroke has been incorporated with this left hand stroke down here, so that's basically become that. So we can see that here. So that's become that, and you've got the leg of the table, if you like, and that goes down, and you can see that's still here, isn't it? And that right hand bit here, that goes in over here. So you can see how that altar has just been slightly, I suppose if you squish it up, that's what's going to happen. So it still means an altar on the left, and we know the stroke order of this, don't we? That goes across and down and across on the bottom, and of course that means dirt or a place. And there's our character. Before we go and have a look at the actual subject which uses this character here, let's go and have a look at the next one that we meet. And in fact, it's the kanji which means meet. Let's see how it was derived. The original character, and this is going right back to the bronze characters, which are nearly 3,000 years old, and in fact this even goes back further. These are nearly 4,000 years old, and you can see clearly here what it is. There's a lid on top, that's that roof-like structure there, and that bit across, that means a lid. Then underneath you've got a cooking pot. Let's have a look at the less ancient characters. Look, that's so clear. Look at that lid and that cooking pot there. And then the more modern characters, if we move up slightly, we can still see there the lid on top and the cooking pot underneath. Now what that was is a lid fits tightly onto the cooking pot, so it's the idea of coming together, meeting, fitting together, and that's where we get this idea of to meet. Okay, that's what it was like 2,000 years ago, and the character that we use of course today has been very much simplified, and it looks like this. Now the lid's still quite clearly here, isn't it? That's this stroke down here, ich, ni, and sound. So I want you to remember that as a lid shape. But this pot underneath here has been massively simplified, and perhaps it's easier for us to remember meeting as a roof here. So a roof, and then 1, 2 people meeting with me, because this character, which is katakana mu, it's the shape of a nose, and it always represents one's self. So there's the roof, that's where we're meeting. Under the roof, 2 people is meeting with myself here, and here I am. You know how the Japanese tap their noses to mean themselves? Well, that's related to this whole concept of your nose reflecting yourself. So there we have to meet. Now we take the character for shrine, or gathering, a group of people gathered together, a company of people, and we add to that meet, we get this shakai. Here's the pronunciation, shakai. And that equals the subject social studies. So in other words, this one, the group of people meeting together, well, that's social, isn't it? Shakai, social studies. That's the equivalent of perhaps the UK subject, which we might call PSHE.